Dr. Zach Getz with Gotham Physical Therapy, and I want to demonstrate to you some of my favorite exercises for runners. These exercises are going to target some of the major muscle groups for runners: the core, the hip abductor muscles on the side of the hip, hip extensor muscles on the back of the hip, the quadriceps, the hamstrings, and the calf. And these exercises are going to work these muscles in the sagittal, or kind of straight forwards and back plane, and then the oft neglected sideways or frontal plane, as well as the rotational or transverse plane. So I hope you like it. This is the single leg knee to chest bridge. So what we're working here basically is the hip extensors, the muscles on the back of the hip, specifically the big butt muscle, glute max. Because it's one leg, we have to deal with a bit of rotational component at the pelvis, which calls in our hip rotator muscles. So we work not just in the sagittal plane, front and back, but also in the rotational transverse plane. So I lay on the back, I bring this leg close to my butt, and I grab this other knee and pull it to my chest. Now I'm doing that to kind of keep my pelvis locked in a bit of a posterior tilt, so that when I push up through this hip, I am really feeling it in the glute max muscle there. If I don't have hold of this, I can push up really high and start to arch in my back and get some anterior tilt instead. And I'm using my hip, or excuse me, my back extensor muscles as well as my hip. And I don't really want to do that with this exercise. I just want that glute max muscle pushing my hip into hip extension, just like that. So we're going to do single leg heel raises for your calves. Just need a step or some incline that will allow your heel to be lower than your toes. And I'm just going to let that heel go all the way down into a stretch, raise all the way back up, and repeat. Just like that. Our goal here is about 25 or more, especially if you are a 4-foot runner, meaning you tend to land on the ball of your foot. You're going to want some good strong calves. The other exercise that we can do is a bent knee heel raise, and that is to get the muscle underneath our big calf muscle called the soleus. So here we just keep the knee bent while we're going through this, and that's going to target that muscle, the soleus, underneath the larger gastrocnemius. This exercise is called wall cleaners. It is specifically for the muscles on the back side of the hip, gluteus medius, and underneath that, gluteus minimus. Those are our hip abductors. They're the ones that kind of bring our leg out to the side. They also help stabilize the hip when we're in single leg stance, so we want to work those pretty good. I'm going to set up with my back towards the wall, about 4 to 6 inches from the wall. I want to make sure that I'm parallel to the wall. There we go. And then I've got a towel. I'm just going to put it on my foot here so that I can slide my foot on the wall. So I'm going to push my heel back against the wall, and then raise that leg up as high as I can, and then back down. Just like that. The reason that we use the wall right here is to keep that foot just a little bit behind our hip here, so that we bias these muscles on the back of the hip, rather than the ones on the front of the hip. They get used a little bit too much by runners. And to keep us honest, we want to make sure that the pelvis stays upright. The tendency will be, when you get tired, to start to roll back. And again, that starts to bias these muscles on the front of the hip. It makes this exercise a little bit easier for you, but targeting muscles that we weren't actually really trying to go for. Okay, so we keep that pelvis straight up and down, just like that. All right, so the wall cleaner, just a quick view from the side so that you can see how we're set up here. So again, about 4 to 6 inches from the wall. Towel on my foot. Hips stacked right on top of each other. Okay. I'm not letting that pelvis roll back, straight up and down. Single leg deadlifts is a really good exercise for teaching our lower leg muscles and our hip muscles how to really control our leg in single leg stance. So it's great really for all sporting activities. So what we're going to do is basically think of yourself as a straight line from shoulder down to foot right there. So my right leg's going to be my standing leg, and all I'm going to do is just kind of tip forward. I'm just tipping forward on this hip, and then I come back. I can bend my knee a little bit if I feel too much of a stretch here, as I go towards the floor, and then back up, maintaining a relatively straight line right along here. I don't want to do this and then send my leg back like that. I want to be nice and sturdy, just like this, as I'm reaching towards the floor. If you want to make this exercise a little harder, you grab a weight, you would put it in the hand opposite of the standing leg. And one of the cues I tell myself is that when I start to go back, I want to think that this hip is going backwards as I go down, and then it's coming back forwards as I come back up. Just taking a quick look at the single leg deadlift from the front. Sometimes the tendency as we do this and go down is to have this pelvis kind of start turning outwards this way and opening up. It's nice to have a mirror in front of you so you can kind of look up and see what's happening here. We want that pelvis to just stay level as we're going forward. So let's see if I can do that. Okay, keeping that pelvis level, not opening up. Keep it level. Just like that. The rear foot elevated split squat, or the Bulgarian split squat. It's one of my favorite all-time exercises. It's just very efficient. It's got it all basically. As far as your lower extremity goes, it's going to strengthen your legs, give you good motor control. Very good for runners, and you're going to see why in just a second as I set up. I have an 18-inch bench right here. You don't have to be quite that high. If you're taller, you might even have a little bit taller bench. But this will work for me. So I'm going to step, for me, about 2 feet from the bench, and I'm going to reach back and put my foot up here. And now if I were to stand here just like this, you can see that this is basically your running stride. Basically mid-stance right after your foot hits the ground, okay? So if we're strong and solid in this stance right here, in this exercise, that bodes well for your running control as well. So I got myself set up right here. I'm going to put my hands on top of my hip crests, and I like to do this normally by looking in a mirror because I want to see what's happening at my hips here. When I do this exercise, I want to make sure that they stay level. I don't want this side to drop. I don't want this side to drop and for me to lean like that to bring it back up. So I want these hips to stay level as I do this exercise. I also want to see what's happening at my knee right here because I don't want my knee, as I'm squatting down, to travel inside of my foot right there. I want to try and keep it in line with my foot, or slightly outside if that's what my body allows. So you can do this with a weight. If I had a weight, I would put it in my left hand to really try and work against this. Got this position right here. Just want you to sit straight down, keep your torso up nice and tall, and then back up, straight leg. Okay, you can see as I do it, we're keeping level here. And my knee is staying either in line with my foot or slightly to the outside of it. rear foot elevated split squat from the side. So as I said, I'm going to go about maybe 2 feet from this bench for myself. When I set up, I want this back leg, I want this knee to be behind this knee. I don't want to set up so close that I'm right here. So I'm going to be kind of far out so that when I go down, and I'm going straight down here, I can actually get a little bit of a stretch on the front side of this hip. It's another added benefit of this exercise right here. So going down low, and I go as low as I feel like I can go. I tell my clients that I want their torso to stay pretty upright. I don't want them leaning forward as they do this because I want that pelvis to stay relatively upright and have a nice stretch on the front of this hip flexor. If we let that go, if I lean forward, that stretch just goes away. So I just want to be up nice and tall. Like so. Chops are one of my favorite all-time exercises because they just work pretty much the entire body from hands to feet and everything in between. And it is very clearly focused on creating rotational strength and power, which is absolutely essential for almost every sporting activity that we do. So we got the cable column set up here. We're just going to grab right from up here, and we're going to pull down diagonally across the body. I'm squatting with it. I'm keeping my back relatively neutral. I'm not necessarily emphasizing this bend forwards like that. I'm incorporating a squat with that rotation. Trying to go through a full range of motion through the hips and through the back. Just like that. Looking at it from the back. That's the high-low chop. The low to high chop is really going to work the hip and the back extensors. The high to low chop works a little bit more in the front. This is going to work the back. So again, we start down low in a bit of a squat. And the part I like to emphasize right up here is that I'm pivoting on this foot and really thinking about pushing through my glute as I come up. From the front. You can do it as fast or as slow as you like. The faster you go, the more it'll be a little bit about producing power. It's tough to do the high to low without a cable column, although you could set up some strong elastic bands. But if you don't have the cable column, you can still do the low to high with any sort of weight. Like so.